Today marks 2 years since Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a special military operation in Ukraine. As the war enters its third year, Ukraine is on the defensive. Some would even argue that Kiev is outmanned and is in a precarious position, with Moscow making small yet steady gains in eastern Ukraine. Hello and welcome to ThePrint. My name is Keshav Padmanabhan, and today, on the second anniversary of the war in Ukraine, I will be explaining where does the war stand, what is the current situation in Ukraine. On 17th February, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced that its forces have captured the town of Avdiivka in eastern Ukraine. The town, of some 32,000 people before the war, lay in ruins, but more importantly, Ukraine lost one of its most heavily defended positions, about 20 kilometers from the city of Donetsk. Avdiivka was briefly captured in 2014 by Russian-backed separatists. However, the armed forces of Ukraine swiftly recaptured the town and heavily fortified it over the next decade. Russia began its efforts to capture Avdiivka in October 2023, but faced several casualties. Its forces had captured roughly 32 square kilometers of area, but the Ukrainian forces had continued to hold out in the coke and chemical plant in the town's northwestern edges before their eventual withdrawal on 19th February. While Ukraine announced its withdrawal from the city, reports suggest that it was not as orderly as expected. The New York Times reported hundreds of Ukrainian troops may have been captured by the Russian advance into Avdiivka, or have simply disappeared during Kiev's retreat from the town. The range of missing troops are between 850 to 1,000, according to the Times report. The capture of Avdiivka has been Moscow's greatest victory since it captured the town of Bakhmut in May 2023. Since October 2023, Russia has attempted to push Ukrainian lines through at least 5 localized battles: Avdiivka, Robertin, Kremina, Marinka, and Bakhmut. Marinka and Avdiivka have fallen, while the Russians have amassed thousands of troops around Robertin, according to latest reports. The village of Robertin was captured by Ukrainian forces in August 2023, in one of its few successes in the stalled summer counteroffensive from 2023. It could be Russia's next focus, given the symbolic value of recapturing the small village. Ukraine is also facing an ammunition shortage as the US Congress continues to delay its approval of a $60 billion aid deal to Kiev. The US Senate earlier this month had passed a $95 billion package, which includes $60.1 billion in aid to Ukraine, $14.1 billion of aid to Israel, and close to $10 billion as aid for civilians in conflict zones. However, the package is still awaiting approval from the US House of Representatives, where Republican Speaker Mike Johnson has yet to bring the Senate-passed bill to the House. Meanwhile, the European Union agreed to a $54 billion package for Ukraine earlier in the month. France and Germany also agreed to security arrangements with Kiev after the Munich Security Conference in the middle of February. While Russia has seized the initiative on land, Ukraine has had some successes in damaging Moscow's Black Sea fleet. On 14th February, Ukraine claimed to have damaged a Russian landing ship, Caesar Kunikov, near the city of Alupka in Crimea. As a part of its war efforts, Kiev has claimed to have destroyed roughly 25 Russian naval ships since the start of the war in 2022. In December 2023, Kiev claimed to have destroyed the amphibious assault landing ship, the Novocherkassk. Russia at the time said that the ship had been damaged. The first major victory for the Ukrainians was the successful sinking of the flagship of the Black Sea Fleet, the Moskva cruiser, in April 2022, one of the most powerful missile platforms operated by Moscow at the time, according to a New York Times report. Through its efforts, Ukraine has been able to open its Black Sea ports and a corridor for its grain exports that had been blocked since the Black Sea grain deal ended in July 2023. The Secretary General of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, Jens Stoltenberg, called the reopening of the Black Sea corridor a great achievement and a great victory for Kiev earlier in February. The war has seen innovative tactics deployed, especially the usage of drones by both militaries to inflict damage on the other. However, as the war enters its third year, it seemingly is Russia in ascendance on land, while Ukraine slowly but steadily chipping away at Russia's naval prowess in the Black Sea. That's all for me today. Thank you for watching The Print. Subscribe to our channel for more such news and analysis.